When you say you should be ashamed of yourself that you're not married, I hear sometimes men say that. And my question is, when you say that, are you talking about a person that's never been married, a person
I'm
that
talking
has been
about I'm
married, or are you talking about that person being married today?
I'm talking about a person who is not married. I'm saying a woman who come from a family who believe and encompasses the tradition of being married according to biblical scripture. And there's women out here, for example, that don't even desire marriage, aren't even put in effort to be a wife. And that's the home and that's the culture and beliefs that she came from. So if she's not living up to that, she's not honoring her mother and her father. She's deviating. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I
but
mean,
the
I
man
understand.
chooses the woman.
I think in your case you have been married, right?
Yeah, I have been married.
And you still that's still on the table for you, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I divorced when I was 29, and after a
Oh, hold on. How old are
divorce,
you?
I'm 42.
Oh yeah, you
So
gotta be ashamed of that.
I divorced when I was 29. I've been proposed to twice, but after you go through a divorce, you're not trying to get married right away, And every time I met a guy, that they want to, lock me up. So I was on this journey in my 30s, at least up until I was about 35. Like I don't want to be married. I've been there, done that. I'm trying something different. I got uncle in my
What does your
family
father think of
from,
that?
huh?
What does your father think of that? I don't want to be married. I mean, you
Well,
still
I never
busting it
told
open, right?
anybody that. That was a personal decision that I had for myself. It wasn't nothing to discuss with anybody in my family. My family knew, it was a big disappointment in my family that I got a divorce because my family is very traditional. I was
What
the
does your
first
what
one to
does
get
your
a divorce, to be
father
honest.
what does your father think of that you're
My
not trying
father
to get
wasn't in
married?
my life like that, but
Okay.
he was at my wedding. He did meet my husband. He did have a conversation with him. And when I left him, my father said, I know you. You like your mama. I knew you was going to leave him at the wedding.
Hold on, did your mama leave him?
Yes.
Oh, that's bad
Um,
then what he just said. That's like a shot at you.
No, I'm not. No, it's not. My
Yes, it
mom
is.
left him.
Your father took a shot
First
at
of
you and you don't
all,
even know it.
first of all, you don't know my father and my mama.
I'm just going by
My
what you just
mother,
said.
my mother and my father met at Purdue University. That's the school I graduated, got my MBA, my degree from. My sister and all of us. My father was drafted to the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, my father went down to Atlanta, got into a fight and beat up somebody on the team, lost it during summer camp, whatever it was, sent them back to Indiana. So he lost his contract with the Falcons. Okay, my daddy came back home and started being a drug dealer. That ain't nothing in our family. Okay, ain't nothing in our family. And to be honest with you, my uncles and my grandfather, they came by the house one day, and my sister was on the floor. I was on
Uh,
our house
my
while my
father
mama
cut
was
her
at
internet.
work. Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can
mhm,
see you.
yeah.
My grandfather saw me on the couch, my sister on the floor. We're drinking a bottle. My father in the kitchen cooking drugs, my mama at work, and it's a crackhead in the kitchen. My uncle and my granddaddy came with some guns and told my daddy to leave the city. And they took my sister and I and took us back to the house. Now you gotta understand, my mama's the only one that had two girls. I have eight uncles. We were the only girls besides my mom and my grandmother in this family. So very protective. My mom left my daddy because of the environment that he, created around us. So if my dad was in my life, I don't know how different I would have been as a teenage girl. You know what I'm saying? So I don't regret anything that my dad wasn't in my life. But my dad knows my mother too. So it wasn't a shot, you know, that because I left my husband, it could have been, well, he saw some signs that he knew I wasn't going to deal with. Whatever that was, I would never take somebody that hasn't been in my life most of the time. The last time I saw you, I was 13, and now I'm 26, getting married, and all of a sudden, you know me that much, so I wouldn't have looked at it like that. So my father ain't never took a shot at his kids.
I mean, like I said, I was just going off of the information you gave me, but when you put it into context, it gives more understanding. But
Yeah, my family
I
don't
guess the
believe in
only
divorce,
question.
and my mom never. I've never seen my mom with a man ever since her and my dad broke up. To this day, I have never seen her with a man. My mama didn't divorce my uncle. I mean, my father until we were like 18, 19. You know what I'm saying? almost 10 years later, when his wife called and said, can you please divorce him because he's using the excuse that you're still married and that's why he won't marry me. My mom didn't believe in that. She wouldn't marry him, but divorce him, but she divorced him because of that. So, I
I guess
come from a
I guess the only
background where when
question
you,
is I guess the only question is why did you divorce your husband?
because he was an alcoholic and it was tough. It's tough when you're dealing with an alcoholic. You competing with someone that can't put the drink down. You know what I'm saying? That's coming home. You know what I'm saying? Getting into bar fights all the time. All of his married friends calling me, yo, your husband on the couch. He won't give us. He tried to fight with the keys. He just gonna stay here tonight. That's what I dealt with. And when you're you in grad school and you're dealing with that, I was a kid that grew up with an uncle that was alcoholic who fell off a 10-story balcony because he was drunk, paralyzed. When you come up with all that stuff, and then I moved fast, he cuffed me up quick, like you mine. And I'm like, okay. But the more I moved with him, the more I learned him, the more I started getting scared. Like, damn, like I can't have no family with this dude. That was my mistake. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing having to do with, oh, you married, you supposed to stay together. I even called my grandmother and asked her, I said, Grandma, I don't know what's wrong. Like, I just don't feel it. And she was like, you're gonna have to figure that out. And that's what she told me. Talk to your husband. And as much as I try to talk and have counseling, it it only took me one time to decide I'm gonna walk away. I never threatened to leave him or anything. But once I woke up and I looked up and I realized that it wasn't a dream, this still was my life, I was like, you got the opportunity to leave now or wait 10 years from now with more kids and the same baggage that this man had 10 years ago. You're gonna leave him for the same shit. It's up to you to make a decision to give yourself another chance or
Mhm.
stay in this. And that's what I decided to do, give myself another chance and get out of that shit. So I had to face, yes, with my family, I'm about to get a divorce. Oh, you know how you are, Chanel, you spoiled. Yeah, I had to deal with all the opinions from my family. But that was the best decision I ever made. The best decision I ever made.
I think Cloud want to go ahead and read something, and then we're gonna keep it moving. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
to bring it back around to the topic, I Googled something and I Googled, do sex hormones affect the brain? And I want to read the answers that came up. It says, yes, sex hormones affect the brain in many ways, including the first one is brain development. It says estrogen develops new neural circuits in the brain, creating physical differences between male and female brains. It says, then it has brain networks. It says sex hormones affect many brain networks, including those involved in learning, memory, emotion, and the stress response, which has to do with leadership. Then you bring it down. It says cognitive function. Sex hormones may play a role in the development of the prefrontal cortex, which is involved in higher cognitive functions. So again, it shows that by the difference in chromosomes, you have a difference in hormones that are coming through your body, and that leads to the differences in men and women that create the hierarchy that was described in the Bible. To go back to the video, so I'll end there.